A Moving Story by Beth, Ferry, and Tom Lichtenheld. Pictures by Tom Booth. Pete and Tiny were movers. Their broad shoulders and strong hands were just the right size for moving things. Big things and tiny things, weird things, reverent things, bulky things, beloved things, anything. Nothing was too small or too light to wrap up tight and treat just right. The brothers were very well suited for their jobs. Tiny had a knack for packing, an eye for organizing, and his 6-box balancing act never failed to impress. Pete was a mover who was definitely not a shaker. He had a quiet way that soothed even the most fretful family. But both brothers knew there was no rushing the perfect packing job, which required more peas than a packing box could hold. Padding, peanuts, paper, packaging, preparation, protection, patience. Phew! Tiny and Pete were in the middle of one of their biggest jobs ever. The panda family was moving. "Upsie," said Pete. "Hoof it," said Tiny. "Got her?" asked Pete. "Got her," said Tiny. "Turkey," said the littlest panda. Tiny and Pete smiled at the panda and her turtle every time they passed. And they passed them a lot because they were in the groove of a very smooth move. And the only thing that could stop them was some very smooth peanut butter. Brumble, went Tiny's tummy. Grumble, went Pete's. It was lunchtime. Tiny spread out a blanket while Pete spread the peanut butter. Then they both spread their arms in invitation. "Lunch munch?" Pete asked. "Yum scrum," the panda answered. Peanut butter lettuce wraps were her favorite. Pete showed her how to make fireworks sounds out of bubble wrap while Tiny transformed the packing peanuts into confetti. The little panda's laughter made it feel like a celebration. But boxes don't pack themselves, so the brothers packed up the lunch, and once again they were back in the groove of their very smooth move, until something went wrong. Something went missing. Tiny had just placed the final box into the truck, fitting it in like the last piece of a puzzle, when the little panda called, "Turkey, where are you?" Her turtle was missing. "Can you look?" she asked the brothers, holding up the empty tank. "You betcha," Pete answered. "Not a frit," Tiny added, patting her head. "I help," little panda said. The search party searched everywhere until there was only one place left to look. "Turkey?" the little panda called. "In there?" Tiny stared at his perfectly packed truck. "Whoa, no," he said, shaking his head. But Pete was staring at the little panda. "Tiny," he said softly. Tiny turned and saw the little panda, and he remembered that nothing and no one was too small or too slight to treat just right. So the brothers pulled out couches and credenzas, and carton after carton after carton, they opened boxes, unrolled rugs, and unpacked all their careful packing. But there was no sign of Torquay, and they had no choice but to repack the truck. "Thank you for trying," Mr. and Mrs. Panda said. "Hanku," the littlest panda sniffed, patting each brother on the knee. Pete slowly climbed into the truck. Tiny followed. It had been a tough day, and they were tired. The brothers were so used to lifting things up that it felt strange to have to let someone down, especially a small little someone. "Dim doom," Pete said. "Glum gloom," Tiny agreed. "Prumble," went a sound. Pete looked at Tiny's tummy. Tiny looked at Pete's, but it wasn't their tummies. The sound was coming from the lunchbox. It was Torquay. "Whoa!" said Tiny. "Hoo!" said Pete. They backed up faster than zoom zoom. "There you go," said Pete. "Got her?" asked Tiny. "Torquay!" cheered the panda, and she wrapped them all in a great big thank you of a hug. Because nothing and no one was too big to wrap up tight and treat just right.